Welcome to the Orange Tree Podcast Show. I'm Dom Stills, and I'm here with my co-host,
Wella Dennis.
Our next guest is a good friend of ours from Los Angeles, California. He's a heck of a human being. He inspires many through a variety of art forms. The one and only Devin Mercadel. Hope you guys enjoy our sit down. Yo, what's up, DMT?
Hello, world.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to just experience this.
I mean, we're switching up the vibes. We're trying something new rather than the outdoor vibes. So we in the indoor vibes today. But yeah, bro. Thank you for definitely jumping on. And if you don't know Devin Mercadel, he's how would you, could you explain that to?
Yeah, I'm a creative, a human being, that is learning something new every day. That's the goal for the most part. I think me, myself, and my friends and my family and other people around me, we're all just like learning and building.
Could you tell them like where you grew up?
Yeah, I'm from Los Angeles, California. Grew up in the South Central area. Also moved to Texas when I was about 15 years old, but originally, from Los Angeles, California.
Nice. And what are you up to right now? Like
right now,
with your just life in general and like.
Wow. A couple of things. Right now, I'm an artist. I create audio and visual content. I paint, design furniture. I also do canvas work, other video, visual content. So really, that's why I say a creator. I don't really have a specific box to be in. I'm a creator. But right now, I'm working on specifically a mural project right now.
Fire. So
it's been pretty good, sparking the brain and wanting to find ways to start the conversation about a lot of the lead that's going on, a lot of lead in the water in Watts and other things as well. But we're working on a couple projects out there and seeing how we can help.
Coming from Los Angeles, I guess what happened in your life that kind of directed you into doing these things that are creative and so on and so forth? Is it like you always wanted to be an artist, or is it kind of like that's just kind of where life is like went? Like, like I want to be a basketball player most of my life. I want to be a veterinarian at one point, but for the most part, art was like an afterthought. Like for me, it wasn't something that I thought I had the ability to be able to call as a job. But even though my dad was an artist and a creative and architect and graphic designer, but that wasn't something accessible mentally for me. Was it more so for you, or did you kind of?
Bro, real quick too, 100% agree with art was an afterthought. Like I felt that so much because like for me too, like it was for sure an afterthought. Like I was already like out, just on my own type of experience when, you're introduced to the real world and life.
Exactly.
And then you discover it. So like an afterthought. I feel that. But my bad. I just wanted to highlight what he said, but
I like that.
That's real. It's interesting enough. I'm still figuring that out, if that makes sense. And because when I was younger, I remember my father telling me a lot of things that stuck out about like you being able to record yourself at that time, it was like a little Sony microphone recorder, voice recorder. And he was like, you can change the world with this. And like, he would put art in front of me. He would show me different things. And I felt like that put me on a path of being a creative then, but I didn't take it serious until like heartbreak and other energies that I wasn't vulnerable at that time to think about or talk about. Once that happened, once like the rock bottom hit, that's when I really start taking it serious. So it's kind of like a little bit of both, I would say. Hopefully that answers the question. Yeah. But that is a interesting topic, because everyone that I'm sitting here with, like we're creatives, we're people that are still learning, still focusing on our craft and still sharpening those tools, So that's a great question.
Yeah.
Because
I honestly feel like as a human being, we all can be creative. It's just like making a decision, So one thing I say is like, my decision was when, you know, I stopped playing basketball. Like I couldn't play basketball anymore. So it was just like I needed to put my energy into something else. I started skateboarding, and with skateboarding came like a taste of like putting something on a surface, whether it's painting on a wall or I painted like a rose on a skateboard and gave it to my girlfriend at the time. And that was like, I didn't think I was trying to be an artist. I just wanted to be creative and be a part of the skateboarding culture.
Wow.
Like,
I
guess like one thing I could ask is like, for either of you, honestly, is like, when did you, I don't know, corny, but got bit by the creative bug? You know, like, no, I only say that because it's like, it's not an expected thing. I like I said, the art didn't come from me deciding I want to just be an artist. It came more so from like necessity. Like I want to do this, and this encompasses this creative way of approach, and that kind of led me into wanting to just create more things.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. For me, it was working for a technology company. When I was able to get the resources on how to,
where was this at?
When I worked for Apple.
Sick.
Yeah, when I worked with Apple, you know, that really guided me down that path. So, you know, learning like how to interact with human beings, how to talk to people, you know.
So tech
as well.
Tech
for sure
opened up your creativity.
Oh, for sure. There was an opportunity there. It was a thing called Start Something New, and it was a campaign that was really dope. And I had an iPad in front of me, and that's when I started.
And
you know?
And that's what's really dope, man, is like I think especially like with Devin, is like he's probably like one of the first of you know, like of the wave who tap into their creativity through tech. Like before, bro, like that wasn't a thing, right? So now it's even more, we're probably going to see that even more 100%.
Oh, you know, we see it every day.
It's already like,
moving. It's moving
so,
to all kinds of things.
I
NFTs,
just find that super interesting that that's how it happened for you, because.
But when you say that, what is like, how does creativity and tech, I guess, not align? Like, because I know they usually it's not seen as that. I mean, now it's a little bit harder because it's a lot of that. But like, how did you working at Apple, you know, make you feel more creative or want to be a part of like the art world? Or
so originally, like I had a interest. It all started a lot with music, you know. And then once I was a major in school for music. And it was like voice, vocal, you know. So I was learning different things. Like going to school helped me. You know, I played ball too a little bit, but it was either play basketball or go the music direction. And so I went that route. But I ended up working and, you know, learning like the technological backside of it, you know, a little bit of engineering, some things. So technically, and what ended up leading me to Apple was honestly the iPhone. Like, when I took a photo of something, I realized, okay, I can take a photo. This is one level that I can start. And then I can take that photo and then, okay, maybe I could make an adjustment here on this photo or change some settings here. I wasn't a photographer. I wouldn't call myself any of that. I was just experimenting. And once I started working for that company, it led me to a path of understanding how I could share between devices. I could do all these different things, you know? So it was like getting the background knowledge of how it works. And like seeing, you know, we're talking about all kinds of things that I'm learning, and it just allowed me to take it more serious. I felt I guess you could say supported in a way, feeling like I had a foundation to be able to like take that leap.
Bro, that's facts though. I think it's a real cheat code in life to know like the Apple system inside, and like just knowing the capabilities of it, because especially from a creative standpoint, I mean, that's usually our like, you know, our tools that we use all the time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Before, I was always PC, you know, and I'm not saying what's just better than this, but I'm just saying that's kind of the core for me that really was like, all right, you can really do this. Because I was seeing how other people were able to create, and it was just like, all right, I can do this too. I can do this shit too, you know?
Exactly.
So that's in my opinion, what helped me. And then also aligning with people in a different way and being able to interact with people differently too. Nice. I mean, I got tattoos, braids, you know, a lot of people, and I was in, in different markets at that time. So a lot of people already like probably, I felt the energy, people looking at me, feeling a certain way about it. I've had experiences, and not just there, but just in life in general. So like, I feel that at the end of the day, you just gotta stay true, and do you. And also is a thing of during those times that I was experiencing, like taking those paths to go down those creative realms and everything, I took a lot of time like by myself, moving back to LA, moving back home. Like really, I took a lot of time by myself and just kind of stepped back and, prepared for pretty much where I'm at today creatively. But, it was interesting. It took a lot of steps. It took a lot of energy and a lot of time. It definitely wasn't given, and there's still a long path ahead. So
tell people what keep pushing means to you, bro.
Not stopping. If you wake up every morning, you have another opportunity to do something different, to be better than you were yesterday. Fine. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it could be taken differently. It's almost like the separation between being selfish or self-love. Sometimes it's a fine line. So I think you gotta understand that you can be better than you were yesterday. So for me, it also came from a perspective of me just painting it on the canvas to remind myself, because it was like, damn, like I'm really out here grinding, sacrificing. Like anytime I made any type of money, it was to eat, pay bills, and invest in the future, invest in my craft. And a lot of times, I was dealing with all kinds of things from over here and over here and over here, just like all these different camera angles, and it's just like, you have to just really just hone in and focus, and just, man, I just stayed prayed up and been continuing to keep pushing ever since. Nice. So I think it's interesting because a lot of people may like have their own perspective of what keep pushing means to them, and that's hey, it's what you make it. It's what you want it to be. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. The reason why I was asking is because, I see you write that a lot, and even just express that even on Instagram or whatever social media, and I just wanted you to be able to just speak on that real quick.
For sure.
I think just to get people more familiar with your art, what conceptually draws you to like the way you make lines or anything like that? Is it more just like you're creating just patterns, or are there actually like meaning to the patterns, or is it just more just abstract like design or something?
Got you. That? So it's a little bit of a mixture of those. For me, it started, like I said, a lot of times before with photography, and then I just started seeing things on paper. Like, honestly, it's just a blank page. Like I just started seeing different things. So really, it's kind of what I just see on the paper, what I see on the page. It's almost like a different dimension. When you look up at like the ceiling, a lot of time when I was a kid, always growing up, I've always like just seen little things. And then when I talk to people like my homies from years back, they say, oh yeah, you always used to like doodle things, and I don't remember a lot of that shit. But it's definitely something that I feel like is a meditative state. For me, it's like tranquility. A lot of people are like, yo, how you do these lines? How you really take all that time? But really, I'm thinking a lot of that time, and a lot of times I'll see different things on the paper. It could be a blank page, and I'm just like, oh shit, that's kind of, it's just like the flow of it. And I feel like it is something that I'm still growing and being and learning from, and finding new ways on how to implement, like being more direct, I guess. I feel like I'm challenging myself a little bit more to be a little bit more direct with where I'm going with it, and not just being something that is just so free. Like, but I still want to be free. Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword right now.
What have you learned? Like, if you had to say, like, oh, I've learned like one thing in this past like 4 years of being an artist, or 4 years plus, I mean, what would be that one thing?
Treat every opportunity like the $1 million budget, like it has.
Well,
you good.
I don't mean to cut you off, but what I was gonna say is just put it into one word.
Oh, one word.
One word.
Okay,
just
word.
One word, like
patience. Then I would say patience.
Dope.
Patience would be.
And why?
Because I feel like things take time. You know, things definitely take time, but within that patience, you got to be putting in that work, like what I was kind of referring to a second ago. You know, like you have to put in that work, but also be patient. You know, not every opportunity is the right opportunity, but the work that you put in, you know, reminding yourself like, yo, like, okay, someone may want to have something done and you may not get paid for it, but still take that as an opportunity to create from, build from, use that as a platform, and maybe implement that into your own event or your own creation of something. So I think having the patience of knowing that day will come where, you know, you'll be able to support yourself from art is possible. So just that's what I'm thinking. That's where my mind's at right now.
Dope. That's fire. Yeah.
That's how I feel about it today.
And what are you currently working on right now?
Right now I have a couple projects. I'm working on a couple collections. I'm working on with some new fabrics, some new textiles, furniture designs. I'm also working on a mural, like I said, in Watts. So we're definitely trying to build in that area. And
what's that mural about? Like
so the mural,
what's that situation?
There's like, for the past years, there's been a lot of issues with soil and water in that area. And it's just kind of been like ignored. I mean, by a lot of people. You know, you think about like Flint, Michigan, and other cities and states, all these different areas across the world that are having these issues. And, you know, there's a place not too far from here that's having similar issues. And then when you think about a lot of the things that come from those issues and how it affects the body, you know, there's just so much that needs to be discussed. So I'm teaming up with some people, and we're working on ways to spark that conversation through art. So I'm working on a mural right now, and it's something that I'm taking a stab at every day, just trying to find a new way. This is like my first solo mural, you know. So it's a challenge, but we getting it done.
Yeah. How do you even like practice for a mural?
Well, to me, it's just having the confidence and just going up there and doing it. I mean, there is certain preparation. You know, I definitely would say do the homework, like take as many photos. You know, with me specifically, like I'll take a lot of photos. I'll use my iPad to draw like a lot of measurements or specific things or ways that I could find to kind of cut down the time.
Yeah.
What I'll do is every day, what I've been doing, I'm about to start day 5. So I'll take a photo of the final where I stopped up for that day, and then I'll import that photo into my iPad. I'll digitally draw over it like red lines on top of the photo to then show where I want to be at the next step. So then my next day on, I'm focusing on those red lines of like, these are the key points. I print that out physically, put it on the wall, or I'll have it physically on me.
How helpful was that time,
man,
with Aaron Kai?
Man, that was an amazing time. I learned a lot. So like, learning from your homies, you know, is like first and foremost. I did like a little room in my friend's house one time in his bedroom. It was like a cool little vibe. That's the only thing I really done other than canvas. But working with Aaron was just like, man, it was amazing. It was definitely a learning experience that I'm seeing while I'm out here in Watts, like looking at it like, damn, yes, he taught me that. Bam, I kind of know how to go about it. Like, you know, from, you know, preparation, timing, confidence, being able to just know that a mistake could be fixed at the end. You know, we can get it taken care of. Like it's never too far gone, which is really dope. So that was a 25-foot wall. It was if I'm not mistaken, it was pretty high, if not higher. But it was an amazing process. You know, big ups to Aaron for that.
Fire.
Both Aarons. Yeah, man. So I know. So really focusing on painting, creating. And the future, I have a lot of things going on, you know, my personal life too. So, you know, a lot of great family years these past 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, you know, between here and Texas. So being able to be on that side of it. My mother, you know, she's from Texas. I'm the only person born outside of Texas on my mom's side. So like, I have to be there. I have to, you know, share that energy. And same with here too, with my father and all my family here on my father's side. So awesome. It's been a good past 3 years. It's been a blessing. Yeah. COVID and a lot of the other things going on in the world has really done some things for my family. And, you know, I definitely feel like we've always been close, but we're definitely getting a lot closer.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Family's a really important thing, man.
Yes,
just having that support system, you know, whether that's your parents, your bloodline, or even your friends, you know. Having a good nest is essentially what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's up with y'all though? What's up? How y'all feeling? This is number 3, right? The third episode.
Yes.
Yo, it's a real game. It's a real game, man. I love the energy that y'all are bringing right now.
I feel like it's just like trying to get people to get a grasp on a perspective that isn't popular at times in certain places. Meaning like the idea of like figuring out how to be able to, like, if, you know, going back to art being an afterthought, it's like if it is an afterthought, once that thought is now conceived, like what's the next step? Like it's a alien planet, so to speak, that you have to venture into, and some people can't, you know, land on the planet. They rather go home. And I just think that like a lot of it is just like, like my venture into it was hard because I'm coming from a sports background, and no one that I know knows me for wanting to be creative, nor like understanding how I can even, like, who do I talk to try to get into these places, to learn these, to get this information and access to these resources. But, you know, I feel like a lot of it, even coming from my 9 to 5, which is when I try to tell a lot of people and kids about, is just like, you know, understanding like working retail for me was like one of my biggest things. And I think people run away from that, like as like a thing. It's like any access point you have to be able to like get resources, meaning like understanding a product and how you sell it to somebody, and then getting the, you know, hand-to-hand combat with a person, so to speak, the conversation, and, you know, like that stuff is all relevant once you go out on your own. Because as a freelance artist or whatever, you have to understand how to talk to a client. Then at the same time, you have to understand how to sell the work you've done, and how to look at the work, and like what kind of tools you need to be able to, you know, create this certain feeling or emotion or whatever the, you know, idea is. And I think that's what we're trying to do with, you know, because we know so many creative people that art was an afterthought. It's like I think I get inspired by like, how did you actually get from point A to point B? It's cool to like have the story of like, yeah, at one point I was this, now I'm this, but it's like, I think the real guts and the information that people really seek is like the actual process, you know. It's like I was listening, I think we were listening to, can't remember who we were listening to, but they're talking about, you know, shooting an arrow, and like in hitting the target is like, it's a goal, but like the actual goal of hitting a target is actually, you know, how like being calm while doing it. It's like,
no, that's real.
How do you get there? What it takes.
Yeah.
What it takes is
like, it's the process to getting there. It's not actually getting there. And so that's what I think we really like, that
the
how do you get there? Yeah, the philosophy, like how I got out of my 9 to 5 was like, I linked with people that now have their own thing going on, and we would talk to each other and like look at different paints, and now we still work together. Alfonso's going to paint another mural for Kids of Immigrants, which is amazing. And it's just like, but to get out of that, it was tough, you know.
Big up.
It's like working a 9 to 5, then coming home and having to try to do a project, and then, you know, not having money, but then like just quitting your job isn't like a thing either. You can't. How do you survive?
No, exactly.
You know? And like, and that's what I would like to tell. I want to like be able to help tell kids that is like, not just that you can do it, but like, this is how you do it. It's like, here are the codes. Like Ready Player One. It all goes back to that right now for me. It's like the codes is literally it's like a real thing. It's the codes are like, how do you get from this level? Because there's so many blocking points and mental blocking points, and like, what did you do to get through those? Whether it was you started meditating, or, you know, you were able to tell your friends, I can't hang out with you right now. And they're able, and either they understand or they don't. But I feel like a lot of us went through these solo journeys that united us together. You know, it's on some Star Wars shit.
It really is, man. You know,
like,
yo,
it really is.
That's real. I did 6 years 9 to 5 full time, you know, 6 years straight before I could take that next step, you know. And it was a lot of sacrifice, a lot of times that I had to not be there. I couldn't be there. But like you said, you know, you at work all day, and then you going home, then you want to still be able to build.
And that friction creates the want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you just have it there, it's like, yeah, I'll get to it. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're like having to go to work and you don't feel like going to work, or you feel like leaving because you got this idea, but you can't leave because you got to clock out.
Yeah.
It's like, I think those are actually good mental drives too. Like that's why I don't think people should run away from working. You know, shit, even at McDonald's, I remember people used to like make fun of people for working at like a McDonald's or a Burger King. And it's like, no, like these experiences
is what molds us.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the lower
starting for sure.
And I look at the lower you can go starting point, and if you get through it, the trajectory, it's like pulling a slingshot.
Exactly.
Like it's hard. That pressure to pull back is hard, but the harder you pull back,
analogy.
the further forward you can go.
Exactly.
So it's
like
100%.
So if you feel like you're at the most dead end job and people aren't even aware of you, just understand that like your trajectory to be great and to inspire the world is way more like potent if you can get through. And getting through is just waking up and putting one foot in front of the other every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. That's
every
facts,
day.
man.
It can't stop.
Yeah. Everybody has a threshold, I feel like, when it comes to like, all right, I need to try something and I need to try something now. You know, and normally the result of that is attempting whatever you want to attempt, and honestly, just an attempt is sometimes the most important thing. You know,
like you said, whether like showing up, you know, most first step, showing up.
Exactly.
That's real.
But
that's real. How about you, Dom? What's up, man? I feel like man, Dom Stills, you know.
What's up, man? What do you want to know?
Jack of all trades. I'm just curious, like where do you see the future of what you want to bring to the podcast? I'm curious.
I mean, I think the podcast is just gonna be something similar from what we just talked about, just attempting new things, like not being afraid to try something new.
Yeah,
I think is a healthy thing to do creatively and also as a human being. So that's how I see like the possibilities of not only like what we're doing right now, but also what outside of that too, you know. So that's kind of like how I see things.
Yeah,
I think it's important to be like confident or like very confident in one's vision.
Yeah,
it's such an important thing, because as artists, that's what you really need. You need to I feel like if I had to really put down something, it's you got to be so confident in your vision that like you're ready. You know, like, because like if you have that, then like, you know, everything's gonna be go or.
I feel you. I'm like confident like you crazy.
As it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Which is like a down now isn't a down. A down is just like part of a story.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a part of a chapter.
I get it, bro.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Like we all get down.
Because like when you look at the wall that you're painting right now at Watts, you like you got it before you even like. As soon as you pull up to the spot, like I'm thinking like you see it on the wall already. So like your vision is so confident, you already see it. It's there. And like same thing like with every other art form. I'm, you know, like if I'm seeing a video, I'm seeing it already done from point, you know, A to all the way down to Z, you know. So, and with Wella, you know, same thing. I'm sure he sees like whatever, you know, like a certain jean or a certain hat or a bag. Like he already knows what he's looking for. So once he hits like a shop, his nose is just, it's just he just knows where to go,
ready,
and where what he's already looking for. So bro.
But to add to that, I feel like that's a big part of what I think like creativity spawns from is like the more you get to experience it, and the broader your perspective of experiences or understandings or, you know, personality, character traits, stuff like that, like the more tools you have to use to paint a picture or to build a house or to record a moment, you know, like I think we have the ability to approach any of these obstacles, but we don't all have the access to pull from the bag of tools that you need to be able to mold
those resources
or to attack it the way you want. And I think that what you're saying is like, what I see about all of us too is we've experienced different people. You know, there's no like disconnect from a person based on ethnicity or gender or sexual preference or any of that type of shit. I feel like most of it is you just see a person and your character either melds or it doesn't. And the more people that your character can meld with, the more experiences you can get. And then again, when you step up to the plate, so to speak, the more tools you can pull from while, you know, engaging that obstacle.
Word. That was making me think too when you're talking about that. The reason why I really love art so much is because no one can tell you it's wrong or no.
Yes,
you know,
that
like
is a great point.
Like that's a beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. That's even more reassuring that like follow your vision.
Exactly.
You know,
it's really what you make it, man.
Like that's a beautiful thing, man. Like a lot of times when we're growing up on just life and stuff, we could remember hearing the word no.
Exactly.
And that word is like it's a shutdown, and I think that's what's so powerful about that, just art in general is
exactly.
It carries this just this fulfilling like energy and like this guarantee too. You could be an artist and like create the most dopest paintings to yourself, like
exactly.
And you could have like a room filled with all these paintings or whatever art, and none of them are wrong. And just the fact of just doing that is cool, like
it's tight. I mean, like, because and also adding into that, I think that it is like it's really what you make it, man. It's like it's what the viewer sees. It's what the person that created it has seen. I do believe that there are also opportunities though to try something new, within that as well, within art. Sometimes taking heed to certain things or getting some sort of advice or something could help too. I think at that point you're learning something and you're able to try something different, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even see that. Had I not listened to the homie on this, I probably wouldn't have saw that. And it could, so it's also taking that leap of faith too, when it comes to taking, fearless feedback and that constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So,
that
helps as well, man.
Yeah, bro.
Like that happens. So, okay, man, I never really did album covers other than like my own stuff, my homies, and then one of my homies hit me up about a cover, and that cover ended up doing a lot more than what I thought it would do, and the album did really. It was a classic album, I feel, and of our time right now, of this generation. So I think that I went through a lot of back and forth things that, like, okay, at first I was like, oh, I kind of want to see it like this, but made some changes, and it worked out. And so I think with that being said, it's like taking certain feedbacks have definitely guided me along a path that maybe I wouldn't have gone down.
Yeah. I mean,
because maybe before all I wanted to do was what I wanted,
Yeah.
So I had to have that.
Dude, feedback is so dope. I love feedback because like someone's taking the time and appreciation of what you just did to look and to give you what their true thoughts are on it. So like that's like such a dope act to me. And also as the artist, you have an opportunity to hear and to understand from someone's perspective, which you can't do, it has to only come from that person. So like there's so much to absorb when someone does, when that moment does happen, and just like with anything else, when there's like a finished product, whether that's a basketball game, and you're able to go back and look into like what you did on this art piece, then you're able to learn. Like you could be like, oh, okay, like the fourth quarter here with 2 minutes left, you know, like I passed it instead of shooting it, you know, like I was clearly open, you know, like I'm sure, you know, like that's what happens for sure, you know.
Yeah.
So in the sense of art, it's like, oh, okay, cool, that's a dope perspective, I'm gonna try that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and that also ties back into like closing the loop of patience too.
Yeah.
Having the patience to hear a person out.
Exactly.
A lot of times that shit ain't easy. You know, you think about like your family. A lot of times, like you may not be able to get through them, and it's you know, it's the patience. And I'm trying to practice patience right now.
Yeah, patience, you know? is a
so that, you know, that's another like way to, you know, explain why that word was something that I felt like I've learned these past years.
I feel that patience, I feel like, is also just a very powerful thing, bro. Like you're saying, I think to have patience, it reminds me of the reason why I think it's powerful is because similar with like martial arts, I believe it's Hapkido, like you use the person's momentum to fight back, and just like being able to give out patience can be seen as like more of a powerful thing to like display, you know, cause now you're unfazed in a way, and I don't mean unfazed in like, oh, like someone's attacking me. I mean just unfazed, and you're really in tune. Yeah, I guess that's more of what I'm saying, is in tune.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Those, to me, that and along with a lot of other words and phrases can align with multiple ways in your life. Like for me, I really noticed it with my father. Like you know, I was close with him growing up, but when I moved, you know, we had some time apart, and when I moved back, it was like, all right, I'm gonna take this opportunity to get to learn and be a part of my father's life, instead of just moving on with my life and like letting it be what it was. Nah, like I want to grow and learn. You know, it felt like in that time, you know, I made the sacrifices of doing that, and it took a lot of patience with him. And I'm gonna keep it G, you know. But I accept who he is, and all I can do is continue to be the son that I can, the best son I could be, to make him proud, and, you know, hopefully just continue to have patience and grow. And I feel like our relationship has definitely grown since. It's a lot different from where it was.
And for the most part too, bro, I think a lot of people could agree is like that's one thing that happens fairly a lot, or at one point consistently with your parents, is like they're displaying patience for you, because we was acting crazy as little as kids, and at times we're displaying patience for them, because they're not perfect. We're not perfect. No one's perfect. You know, like, so that's something that I think is just also just a cheat code in life, is to have patience, man. Like, you live in LA, man. I hope that you discover patience in a way, because mainly because I mean traffic, like, dude, like
we are all traffic.
No, patience
you
is
gotta
good.
have patience for sure in LA.
Is good. Patience is, I feel like, gets to peace, and the peace is like, I feel like a big too.
Is like,
it embodies patience as well. So I for sure get it, because it's really good to be able to control your emotions. It just is. You know? Reckless emotion is like very dangerous and detrimental to self, not even just like to anyone. It could be to anyone else too, but like I think to the self, it's really there. So you know, peace and being unfazed by things is like it's really powerful.
If you your mind is your home and your body is your home, like, to have your home at peace, like, you, as well as saying, like, that patience must be there, you know.
For sure.
It's like what we were talking about earlier before the podcast. We were talking about just pyramids, you know. We're talking about the eighth, what was it, the
one of the wonders of the world.
Wonders of the world.
We somehow got on that topic,
and then we started talking about pyramids of Giza, and then we were talking about how, like, pyramids are built, and it's always like the base.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly,
and how you must have that in your real life too.
Yeah, you definitely have to, man. It's like a lot of the things that are just, sometimes we try to figure out how did that, what if it's just simple? It's a lot simpler than that. What if maybe that's the answer to how we align with a lot of things, from building a great foundation together. I talked to my brother Cornell, and and San, and my boys out in in the South, and we always talk about how, like, we continue to build. We may go other places and create and do this, but we always have that foundation, and that stretches wide.
Yeah, bro.
So growing and building to like a goal is always been a thought in my mind. And a lot of times I feel like you can sense when others may not have patience, and that's okay too. I feel like there was a time when I didn't have patience. Mm-hmm. I was crazy sometimes with like always wanted to move around like, mm-hmm. and I think that I saw how it was affecting me in my life, my personal life, mm-hmm. and I think those are the things that when I speak with y'all, my brothers, it's just like, yo, like, I always knew it wasn't only a couple people or myself that have only experienced these things or like similarities. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, it's beautiful to be around that energy, hear the birds chirping and shit.
No, right? Yeah. Big vibes out here.
For real, man. For real.
But for real though, for what it is, I feel like the word foundation isn't spoken enough, like it's definitely a foundation. Mm-hmm. is just yeah, bro, you just real. Need it. And it's good to be mindful in that, is what I'm saying, mm-hmm. like recognizing your foundation, mm-hmm. as a person or whatever else you do with your life. Yeah. Just recognizing that, even if it's with a relationship with another person, like, yes. Recognizing your foundation, I feel like could be a healthy thing to do.
Definitely, man. Yeah, that's love, man. That's love. Orange Street Podcast.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Having fun with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. It's there's no rules to a lot of this stuff. I think, there are guidelines, there are obvious things, there are facts.
But the thing is just trying things out. I mean, like, who knows what, like, where anything can go as when it comes to experimenting things, mm-hmm. is what I'm talking about. But that's the cool thing about it, is like seeing where you could possibly start and where it could possibly go. Mm-hmm. Like, even a small change, even like something that small is what I'm talking about too, from just like filming a couple out in the backyard and now filming inside.
Exactly.
Just trying new
being
things.
Able to adapt, there's a lot of times that pivot and that, mm-hmm. being able to adapt isn't easy.
Yeah.
And the beginning of it is just us saying, I can't do it, can't do like, already putting that energy out there.
The thing is too, is like just trying those new ideas, mm-hmm. even if it's something light, just trying one thing, it's I think it's cool,
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who knows what's the next new little quick idea? Like, it might be something else.
I have a question. So is there an idea that either one of you guys or both of you guys that have had, that you've seen like a huge return from? And I'm not speaking financially, I'm speaking strictly like just the energy that it gives you, like where someone's coming up to you and expressing something that they saw that you didn't see. Like, has there ever been anything? I know that's a very broad question, but I'm just curious. Like,
not that I can think of.
Yeah, not that I could think of right now either, man.
I mean, we're here. This is one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think because people have obviously reached out to you guys about the previous ones. Like, it's definitely something like the previous podcast I can listen over and over.
For sure.
Like, I'm not gonna be able to get it all at once, maybe. So I want to hear it again and be able. No, because it's a lot of gems that I've heard. I think this is one of them. But I was just curious.
It's all good, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't speak for Dom, but I just do this honestly because it's something I wanted to do and something he wanted to do, and anything outside of that really doesn't like matter. Like, I think we're in a time where a lot of people do things to like show people, but they forget that like you have to do things to show yourself, and then after showing yourself and accepting what it is, you share with people. Like everyone tries to monetize their, you know, creativity, and it's just like a bad way of looking at things. And I know people will be like, well, it's because, you know, people don't have money, where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, it doesn't become art, then it becomes like a transaction.
Yeah,
and
instead of transformation.
At that point, it's not, the lifespan of it to inspire people isn't really like too like girthy. It's not substance filled, you know. It's way more just like transactional.
Quick, short term instead of long term.
Yeah, and transactional is not. It's not good for the human spirit. It's just not. It's. People can tell me otherwise, but me personally, I just feel like it's more cohabitating and like figuring out how to get resources. I talk about resources all the time. Like, if you're doing stuff for resources, that makes more sense. Trading resources, or, you know, that would be different than like doing it for just the check. That's, I can say that because I'm lucky to be able to say that too, but I also think like me being at a certain point too, I wish there was like a way in which I didn't have to think about everything that I created had to be sold.
Yeah
because it's like,
that's the challenge. But
you know, I think it's going into a time where it is going to be that, where there is a lot of old things that people want. You know, even style-wise, people want like old Carhartt jackets and like Jordans from the 90s and this and that. It's like the trading card society, so to speak, is coming back. So for me, I think about brands that create access just based on aesthetic. And, you know, I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's something I'm aware of. But I think product without purpose becomes like toxic to an extent. I think about that too, even having a company. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool to know though. One thing is like there's a marketplace. It's a wide marketplace,
for
you know,
sure.
like there's a market for everything, you know, so that's pretty cool. Like it just as far as based off community, you know, like there's a community in every little like sector of a thing or anything, a topic, you know.
Yeah,
that's
I feel like
really
it'll
awesome.
go back that way too.
Yeah,
you know, to where it will be more pockets of people that, you know, this is the culture in this pocket, this is the culture in that pocket, and be way more like apparent though.
Yeah,
that's because I feel right now it's like everyone's still worried about who has Jordans and who has. There's like, not to say individuality is a thing. I think we're all. It's not. I used to think individuality was a thing, but I don't know if it really is. But difference in likenesses are. So the cultures that spawn, I think, especially with connection through technology, they will be more smaller and more boutique-like, and like you will have more diversity of like cultural perspective. Yeah, which is what I'm looking forward to, because like everyone standing in line for a pair of shoes is just like, I don't know.
But people really love it though.
It's not that they don't love it, but I don't think that, you know, sometimes it's a cultural thing, sometimes it's an identity thing. And some people, when they don't hit these marks of these material hits, it becomes identity, and that becomes like detrimental to your mental. So like it could be, we could say a culture is like, oh yeah, it's a cultural thing, it makes people feel good, but it only makes them feel good until they don't feel good anymore, and then they're going to a doctor asking a friend like, what's wrong with me? It's like you pick more into product than people. That's what happened. And until we acknowledge that as a society, there's gonna be a lot of sad people.
Do you wait in so the action of people buying products or materialism, is that what you're essentially talking about?
I think it's like the chain of it though. Because the way that the people want the product, the industry feeds the people. So for example, it's like, why are there so many renditions of an iPhone or Galaxy and Android when it's just to create profit? It's not about the people, because if it was about the people, they would create a product that had longevity. Like everyone's creating for the next season, so there's no true like substance or quality even put into the product, because it's not it doesn't make my product profitable, because then who's going to come buy next year? But that's like a detrimental way of thinking about the human species. Like like you think about it, it's like, why are shoes created to be like to deteriorate when we could create them for them to last? And then our only excuse is because it's profit. You know? But profit, when we pollute the planet and we're worried about profit, like
I think there's, you know, for sure when it comes to the planet, like, and thinking profit over health is a terrible move. Is a really bad move.
Horrible.
But I think also that there's like profit in like, you know, like let's say these Pokemon cards. Like there's for sure profit in there. I mean, if it makes somebody happy to collect it, because like even with 40-Year-Old Virgin, the movie.
That's a great film.
Steve has like, I forget what's his name in the movie.
I can't either, but he had a lot of toys.
His character had a bunch of
I know that
memorabilia.
Memorabilia. And to him, it made him happy. It was profit, but he had it because he loved it, but he wasn't really thinking about the profit up until he had to sell it. Or because of that relationship thing that he was in that movie. Great movie. But
I just want to buy these shoes. I don't understand why I just can't buy them here.
So like what I'm saying is like with him, it's good is what I'm saying. I think, you know, like it's a good thing to perhaps not for all of them, but there's for sure things where I see where it's like awesome because it is a community. If it does happen to have like value to it, even better, you know, because like it's good to you know, like hold on, or not to hold on, but to sustain valuable things in life too, you know. Like everybody wants value, I feel like, but the thing is, I think where it becomes bad is when it starts harming like either anyone else in the world, or even another species, or just the planet in general, you know. So for instance, like if when it comes to just, you hear those stories about people hunting tigers or lions for certain like medical things, like they're going after a profit, but it's at a cost right there, you know. And that cost, I feel like, is definitely something like, it sucks, you know, like it's not a cost I feel like that should be being made. But like when it comes to and see, this is where you could technically start splitting hairs, but like when it comes to either clothing, because, you know, some people really do love collecting clothes, and I understand that, but also clothing, what is it, like it's pretty hazard, or what was it?
It's pretty pollutive.
There you go.
For sure. But again, I think it's like, I'm not telling anyone that they can't design or to not want new things. I just think it's like when the idea of profit is the main focus, as opposed to longevity and like quality, which is where we live at, like in this moment, and we disguise it as business. It's like you know, it's the parent telling you not to lie, and then the creditor calls and they say, tell them I'm not here.
So
it's like, I feel like that's like, I feel like I've used that so much.
They need to hear this, brother. They gotta hear it.
It's so true, because I feel like the idea of like even saying PC, like I feel like we even lost what that term means, like politically correct. It's like I think that the words still have so much ambiguity to them that I don't really even know what politically correct means. You know, but when I say, like, when I give the example of like, I feel like we're in a time where someone's saying like, don't lie, but then like lie when it's good for me because of this dynamic, then it's like, it's hard to get people to be in a state of truth and like all these different things that we know will enlighten the human spirit in our progression as a connective community.
Yeah. Well, that's totally just messed up. You know, if someone's like disguising things and basically not telling the truth when you should, you know, when you clearly should. You know,
I think like, so. But it's like that's our government doesn't disclose everything that they can to us. So it's like, but we've become used to it, you know. And I think it's like it's a little poisonous, you know, because later on in life you have to come and stand in front of the truth. And I think it's like the later you wait to confront the truth, the harder it becomes to overcome the truth. Like, because it's so I just feel like when you can be engaged with that at a younger age, it just makes the blow less harsh, and like it makes you be able to like recover and like approach it and find the solution, because then at least the next generation or your child or your cousin or who anybody connected to you at least has, you know, a shield or like something that can like take prepare that blow, because it's going to be a continuous blow. I just think it can be softened with like that's real. A little bit of like love from the from our current generation,
and I think that's a great thing too, is like if you know, like, because as far as what you're talking about, I think the best thing for sure to do is just to do and being able to just channel to is being able to think for yourself. If you're able to think for yourself and like analyze the situation and then, you know, like logically think about it and then decide for yourself, like, is this good or no? If you're able to do that, then it's just a powerful thing to do, you know. Anyways, but
no, that was a good one. That was a good topic right there. I like that. I feel like these are the things that are on our minds that we need to get out.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, if you have one person that thinks like that, and then you start realizing, like, holy snap, like everybody I know for the most part thinks like this. Like, you know, they're all able to think for their own self, and when they're come across a situation, and I think if that keeps happening, like, eventually, you know, I think the right people will be in place to make that decision, you know, whenever that happens, when that does happen
in different areas too, in all kinds of
and that's one thing too, bro, is like, these past like 2 years, definitely this past year, is like we've seen people make action on things that they thought on their own, you know, like they saw something, was like, yo, that's not right, someone's gonna hear us, you know, like we've seen that this past year. And I think that's just an important thing, and from what I'm like raised on, is like, it's technically the American thing to do, is to let yourself be heard, you know, like. But I think it's even deeper than that. I think it's even deeper than just an American thing to do. I think it's the human thing.
Yeah, it's human. I mean, it's, and no, go ahead.
You know, like whether doesn't even matter if you're on the North America continent. Like, if you're in Australia and you're doing something because you want to, you believe in it in your heart, and you believe that like whatever is the idea that you think is right, if you're standing with that, then I think that's a powerful thing to do as a person.
Yeah, exactly,
you know?
Man. I mean, because, you know, the fear can always be there. You know, it's something that you have to just kind of look over. You know, look at it, you know, go over it as like a speed bump, but not a roadblock. Yeah, those challenges.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's a roadblock. Nothing's a roadblock at all, I feel like. Only speed bumps, if anything, as you said.
Yeah, man. I was telling somebody, what is it? Obstacles are opportunities to, what was it?
Sound good already. Whatever.
No, you good, bro. Channel that. It's good.
Take your time.
Obstacles are options for opportunities. That's what
One more time.
Obstacles are options for opportunities.
Obstacles
so
exactly.
the problems that come your way come to you as a option to decide which one you want to solve.
Exactly.
And that's the opportunity to be able to, you know, give your gift or your craft or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think that, that's, if people have that mentality, then they don't become victims. And I feel like a lot of people are okay with being victims. Like, life's not easy for anyone. As much as we would want to project that on people, it's like,
it really ain't.
It's not. So it's like, you know, just instead of like projecting that obstacle as a problem to people, you should take it in as an opportunity to like find yourself in it.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
You do, after 10 days of doing anything, or I think like 14 days, 2 weeks, let's say, like it becomes a normal thing. That thing routine, that you thought was hard routine. Is like, so it's like, I start thinking like that again. It's like, oh yeah, I want to work on bikes. I want to work on motorcycles, because that shit felt like grandiose at first. Like, oh yeah, I want to do bikes or so many. But it's like, nah, man, just start simple. Yeah. Look at it every single day. You know, talk to your friends about it. I got the homies looking for me, and then before you know it, it becomes normal. Exactly. You know, it was for skateboarding or art or sewing, like all that shit.
You integrate it in with your life. You know what I'm saying? It's integrated.
Because it was made by a human, so it's not really like
for real
anything that's not even understandable. The fact that it's been done is like, why? But again, we as human beings need to have that more connective species. Like when I was talking to you about the aliens, it's like, it's funny, we can write a story about aliens who could travel galaxies and planets, but and picture them as these barbaric things that want to put us on a table and cut us apart or eat us, like, and drink our blood. But that it's like, at least we could look at them as primal, but we can't even come together to like get off this planet. So it's like, you know, like, I don't think we even write the idea of what an alien could be correctly at times, because I think to be able to travel the stars, you have to be an enlightened, unified species to be able to rely on somebody being in the middle of the galaxy. It's not the middle of nowhere like we're on the planet. It's like, imagine being light years away from Earth, and you're just out there, and you're worried about someone fucking your girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like that's why I think as species it's hard for us to get to a point of like space travel, because it's like we're so worried about that type of stuff, where it's like, no, bro, like, you're my brother. Like, if you're not there for me, we can't do anything, because I'm never gonna trust that I can like turn my back and do my best, because I'm worried about you putting a knife in my back. And we're keep being told that, and it's like, that's not the truth, man. Like, that's why I want aliens to come, so we can stop the fact that we're still talking about ethnicity is crazy to me.
That's so crazy.
People will be like, no, crazy. You could say, it's like, no, it's fucked, because as black people, I don't want to talk about that shit no more. I just want to be treated fairly. And I don't want to feel like I have to project that at every friend who's not black. I just want to be in my truth, because I'm killing it. My truth without saying what I am gives more inspiration to everyone. I want to inspire people that look like me, but I also want to inspire people that don't look like me. Straight up. Also women, also little girls, also, you know, anyone, bro. Yeah.
That's real.
And bro. Like,
fuck. No, I feel that.
I agree. Because, man, we could have, you know, you just never know.
I was talking to Brian the other day. I was like,
that's interesting.
I just feel like there will be a day where like ethnicity is not ever gonna be like a thing anymore, and you know, like maybe that's 1,000 years from now or something, you know, where it's just like everybody,
a couple hundred years,
or a couple hundreds, like, because like if you think about it, imagine if it kind of happens like where it's just like the melting pot becomes so melting that it's just all one stew, and like
a goulash,
and that'll be tight, you know. That'll be so cool, you know, because like I think then people will for sure have no choice but to really agree, like, yo, we're all one melting pot, we're all that same stew, like you can't, you know, like, so I hope I hope to God, you know, I hope, man, that it comes to that point, you know, or just where it's like we're just all one stew.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it would be cool.
If it happens on one side of a planet, it affects us on the other side too.
Yeah.
I think we forget that. The Chernobyl.
The thing is,
the Chernobyl shit, all that stuff. It's like we can't just keep to this whole nationalist like perspective. Like we have got to go more into a global like understanding that we are all on this moving spaceship
we all on a
together.
rock spinning
this biological
space.
Spaceship together,
just spinning.
Yeah, I think I can't remember who said that, but it really is that. It's like a biological spaceship. We're just floating in a rotation in the immense dark black matter or whatever that shit's called.
Yeah, that's real.
It's
And I just want to say too, like we're one stew right now. I just want to,
exactly.
like we are that stew right now.
I'm African, but what does that even mean?
Yeah, like bro.
I don't think anyone in here is just like one like. You know, one like gene from like
from Zeus or something, like you know, like
pure blood.
Yeah.
We've all of our I mean, we're human, bro.
Yeah, we're all
human. Like as long as there's trade and barter and all this other shit,
it's gonna be changed.
And we're human, so it's like if a guy's traveling to another country, you mean to tell me he's gonna get to an island in Polynesia and not find the women beautiful? And not procreate? No, bro, he's gonna be a man. They're gonna be women. And he's gonna do his thing, and they gonna want to, you know, like that's how I see it.
Nobody.
I'm not gonna say it's wrong or right because you know colonialism, that shit's a little fucked. But not a little fucked, a lot of fucked. But overall, in terms of like travel and trade and cultural exchange,
good
like,
intentions.
There's going to be people mixed with all types of shit. Just because
you
can't, love doesn't deny. You can't deny love based on your ethnicity.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't choose like that. It's like there's so much more. So, love has no. I don't even think love has a face. It doesn't have a shape. It just is. So
it's love. It moves like music, you know.
Yeah, and it moves in whatever relationship it can. You know, some people believe hate is hate, but I believe hate is just a form of love. Sometimes people don't know how to show love the way we're used to seeing it or hearing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it's like that's why I challenge myself, knowing that we are here at this time, this generation, this moment, this second. You know, born by our parents or who our parents are. Like, it's like 1 in 400 trillion or something. You know, for us to be who we are. So what are we like? I challenge myself, like, what am I gonna do for this time that I'm here?
Yeah, I mean, making the most with your time.
Connect with the people that's like on your vibe.
How will I inspire?
Yeah. Bro, like that's the thing with waking up every morning is like we really do have an opportunity to like do something that we just like really want to do, you know, and it's just good to be mindful of each day that passes by, because like just as a human being, just growing through the years, like a day goes by so quickly, you know, and things can start to feel like a blur. And I think it's good to just try to be as mindful of each passing of the sun, you know, like I think that it's just like a good thing for anybody to practice. But anyways, one thing too I wanted to bring back and rewind real quick was, what was that quote you said? The obstacles are options to opportunities. So like that's a very when you were talking about that, I was thinking about just firemen, you know, like somebody who goes to a bad situation to like create good situation. And like I've had an experience before where I was driving by in our neighborhood and I saw a house on fire, and or not on fire, but like I saw a house, like literally black smoke coming out the window, and I pulled over my car and I stopped and I ran up to the house and started looking around for like dogs or any kind of sign, and then eventually me and this other guy who walked up to the house smashed down the front door, and when we kicked down the front door, we were shouting to see if anybody was inside the house, and nobody responded. And at this time, we were hearing sirens, you know, the fire department coming up, they're approaching, and And for that split moment, for like those 3 to 5 seconds that door was on the floor, I was thinking, and so was this guy, whether we should run in or not to see if there is anybody inside who perhaps isn't responding, or even any dogs, cats. Like it could, who knows? So like that mystery of what you're thinking about at the doorstep is a one hell of an obstacle. And me and this guy were about to, like, we're dialing in, like, all right, who's running in, like we're pretty much giving each other that face already. But then as soon as that moment's happening, fire department pulls up, and then they go in and they're looking for that opportunity to save someone's life. So that just reminded me of like the obstacle are just options, because they're literally doing that every day. That's what they're called in to do. Like, and that's like definitely pun intended, but no pun intended. That's fire. Like that's super fire. That's brave. That's like real. That's brave, and like man. to them, they made it. They cracked it down to an art. Like as soon as they pulled up with a team. No different from like a film. Extreme difference, but like similar as far as team movement. Team. Yeah. Like with a film production team, everybody has a job. And same with their fire department crew. They pulled up. Everybody on that truck has a job. And I have no background in fire department. Like, like I may know like a few people that have, pursued it. But my knowledge is I don't know too much about it. So, but however, though, I did notice the teamwork, display happening in front of my eyes. And it was really dope because it just of the circumstances, and as well, it was talking about opportunities.
Obstacles.
Yeah, thank you.
Options.
There we go. So that made me think, and it's just super dope.
It brought it back.
These guys who are essentially are in our age group are doing that every day. Like, and that's tight, man. Like, I mean, it's such a brave thing for them to do, because even just as far as going back on that story, for whoever wants to know, like what happened is they did go inside and they pulled out an old like granny, and she was like mad skinny. She looked like she just needed help for sure. I mean, the house was on fire, but so yeah, like they pulled out a girl. And it was crazy, but yeah, that just made me think, because these guys who are in our age group are doing those dope, like, brave, good things, good saving people, and when it comes to thinking about your situation, that perhaps that your obstacle in life, and it's not about like weighing situations out between other people's lives, but it's good to still be mindful as far as like because as an artist or a person in general, we tend to overthink things.
Yes.
Like we're very that's what makes us so intelligent, is like we could really like hone in on something for the good and for the bad. So like I just think it's cool is to, when you are aware of certain things, is to like, okay, like perhaps I'm overthinking this perhaps isn't that difficult, so yeah,
that's real. That's real. There's a lot of challenges that come up,
for sure,
that could be taken different ways, so we gotta look at it like that.
Yeah, it's a part of life, it's a part of breathing, is seeing those challenges. Imagine living a life and not seeing a challenge, or imagine like it's just really a part. You have to love life because life is challenges, you know, like it's gonna happen, you know.
That's real. I hope everybody listening is writing all these bars down, because there's a lot of them being said. But I hope this will live forever on the internet. So
DMT's talking about bars, y'all. DMT's also a rapper, or like a musician,
you know,
and so how is that, man?
Man, it's cool, bro. Like, excuse me, I told myself I just want to diversify myself starting off, you know, and not feeling the need to have to try new things, or I mean not try new things, but more so like just do one thing and only that. Like, I do get it, I respect that, but music was always like my love. So
as a creator, what does music do to you as an artist,
man?
Because like it's one thing being a painter and like a photographer, cameraman, drone worker. What does music do to you that the other arts don't really do for you? It
sparks a certain energy. I feel it like, it's kind of like that little seasoning that goes on top of the gumbo. If you eat gumbo, I used to eat gumbo, not as much anymore, but it's like, it's a little bit extra seasoning on it, you know. That's how I look at it. So a little Zatarans or something, you know.
So in other words, it
gives that little extra, you know, that extra push at times. Like, it definitely has a way to.
Does it? So it gives you a spark.
Yeah, it gives me a spark, but it has a way to kind of give you different emotions. You can connect with a song from back when you was in high school and learn something, you know what I mean? Like, or I'll listen to stuff that I'll create, and like, I'll listen to it, I'm like, damn, that's what I said back then. That's how I was feeling. So, you know, it marks a time. And with me, I love audio and visuals so much because you can have different emotions based off of them. You know, you watch a movie and, you know, you have sound, but you may have a movie where there has no sound, you know, like older films, and you're only able to tune into the visual. But when you have that sound, that gives you another energy. Like, you'll know when to feel sad at times. You'll know when to feel remorse. You'll know when to feel like anger, like passion, love. So I think that the merge of audio and visual is just important. So for me, even if no one ever hears any music that I made, like I'm still gonna put it out, because for me, it's an opportunity to express myself through audio.
What type of music inspires you as a musician?
All kinds of music, jazz, rock. I grew up, my uncle introduced me to Jimi Hendrix, you know, Zeppelin. My brother, you know, Pac. My dad, just jazz, Isley Brothers. My mom,
which
R&B,
one,
you know.
Which
so
one
everything.
Which one do you think is more you? If you had to say, this genre is more me, and why?
I would say a little bit of a cross between like R&B, you know, more of like kind of old school kind of R&B, and a little bit of jazz as well too. And you know, from being in jazz band, it was just hella dope to me. You know, I was did a lot of like choir stuff too as well. I was in a choir, you know, so that was cool as well. I think that's what kind of got me out of my shell when I went and like performed in DC in the choir.
What's your favorite soundtrack to a movie?
Favorite soundtrack to a movie? Man, I love John Williams. Jurassic Park is just like a, you know, like I love that shit. That shit's hard. But John Williams has like a lot of bangers though. You know, he has a lot of. But I think I also feel like Quincy Jones has definitely done a lot of amazing work as well too, with like soundtrack scores and stuff. I think.
Could you list like even one perhaps, or just like one that Quincy touched?
Well, I was actually watching a recent documentary of him, and I'm still like learning a lot of the new ones. I'm like going through that. You know, that's another thing with music for me. It's like tapping in with specific sounds at times, but also like finding your own sound. So a lot of times I kind of don't listen to a lot of other artists as well too. I kind of play the same music a lot. My homies probably know I'm always playing the same shit, but but I think it's a thing of like finding my own sound in a way. But I think, man, you know, he helped out with Austin Powers damn near. I mean, that was dope. Austin Powers was definitely a film that was really dope.
Austin Powers is
the sound, you
is
know?
A masterpiece.
So I think, you know, with me, I just appreciate a lot of musical scores.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of love for that.
Yeah. So do I.
Yeah, definitely, man. So yeah, you know, I just feel like speaking through the music and putting certain things out there through audio helps, but for the most part, creativity comes out in different ways for me. So,
for sure.
You know. But I like to rap though. I like to fuck around. I talk shit when I rap though.
Hey man.
I'm not really if you consider me a nice guy, like when I rap, I'm not. I'm an asshole when I rap. That's how I think.
So like
it's it may come off weird, but
like,
that's how
are you rapping aggressively then now? Like it's like, or how aggressively are you going? Like, are you?
No, I just feel like that's the energy I give. Like because okay, listen, I'm gonna keep it G. When I was younger, I never liked putting music that had curse words in it and around my family and shit, you know, and I get that. But the thing is like, to me, I feel like that energy comes from what we've been a part of, the traumas we've experienced, a lot of shit, you know. So it's like, I feel like it gives me an outlet to just be who I am. But I don't think that it, you know, there's no rules to it. I think.
What you think, Wella?
You know, I feel like when I rap, if I'm freestyling, I'm just talking shit. There's something I probably wouldn't say like in any other setting other than me like rapping it.
Fire.
Or spitting, whatever, bars, however you named it, whatever we call it.
What you thinking, Wella?
What
do you think?
About what?
We are now here on Orange Tree Podcast.
Just
today, Saturday.
What do you think about
Saturday.
DMT?
What you mean? What?
I'm just joking. I'm totally joking.
Man,
no.
the trees are kicking in right about now. No.
Have you messed around with music?
Nah.
Wella should though. Wella over here talking about nah, but he definitely should. He has.
What's?
I feel like it's something I need to want to do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I remember Brian said before, it's like I'm obsessive about shit. So if I'm really gonna get into something, like I don't want to be like the mediocre cat. I like have to be good at it. And that's an opinion based on me, but it's like I just gotta feel like when I play basketball, like if I walk in the gym, like niggas know I'm like really there to play. I'm not just like kind of good. Like so I feel like that's like even with art, it's like that's why I obsess about art. It's like if I'm gonna do it, that's why with the bikes you'll see me do a lot more bikes, but I'm just a little bit more obsessive. It's hard for me to just kind of like dabble in something.
Yeah, it's okay to submerge yourself. You know, it sounds tight.
Yeah.
What other things do you do that perhaps you feel like people may not be aware of, as far as like expression with art? Because for the most part, I think people do know about your clothing. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
and so like perhaps even like the quotes that you've been printing out and drawing out and sharing on Instagram is a form of this art that you're expressing through, that isn't clothes, but it's still a message, which is still in line with like
I think I like conversation a lot. So it's like the idea of like taking information from. Like I think like that's what, you know, even with this, it's like a lot of it's like how do we get information from people that inspire me, you know, like it's like the how to, you know, that's I think that's where I'm at with just art as generals, like doing it to a point where people like it, and then if they like it, I tell them how to do it. Because like most people want to do it. Most people aren't going to do it, but they want to know, just out of curiosity.
Teaching
Curiosity as well. Yep. But
nice. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
24 hours in a day, man. You can break it up a couple ways. You feel me?
How many hours?
24 hours in a day.
I thought you said 25 for a second.
Hey, I mean, you know,
I was like, yo,
people can count different ways. You know, you can say how you want, but I learned it was 24. You know, 25/8.
Oh god.
Nah, I mean, you know, staying creative throughout those hours, breaking it up different ways. That's how, in a way, I'm able to work on just bettering different things that I do.
Yeah.
Time management, and I need to get better at it.
Nice. Do you believe in vacations?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is?
I don't know what a vacation is. I've never taken a vacation. You don't believe in
mental breaks?
I believe in mental breaks, but I do that when I'm telling y'all, I'm thinking when I'm drawing all these damn lines. Like I'm thinking.
What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about what I'm doing, what's happening around me, the things that need to get taken care of. I'm thinking about the future. I'm listening to the past a little bit, you know.
Yeah, you're meditating. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I'm for sure meditating.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah. But I'm able to multitask and kind of still be there. Like, if it's one thing I learned about school, I took this test. I guess I'm a kinesthetic learner. So it's like, it was like I'm able to kind of, in my opinion, I feel like I can be doing something and still being able to. I have to like learn. I have to do it. I have to physically do something.
When I look at your art, bro, I think lines in meditation. And after you just said that,
that's a part of it for sure.
That's dope.
Yeah, but shit, if a beat's on, you know, might as well, you know, say something, you know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, man, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate y'all.
For real.
What you on to next?
Some food.
So,
or do you mean like next today?
I was thinking anything, man. Really, like,
man. Honestly, I'm next. I'm just I'm focusing on the future. I have the biggest project of my life that I'm working on right now.
What's that?
I have a son on the way. And
nice.
It's a beautiful thing, and I'm excited and looking forward to it. And
it's a big project right there, buddy.
You know. It's a lifelong project. Yeah, and I'm awesome. Just like, man, I'm excited.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. You know, my brothers, man.
I'm really excited for you. I think it's gonna be so cool.
Thanks, man.
I'm like, I remember we drove up to the Bay, and we took the PCH all the way up, and then we was just vibing, me and you, and like taking photos up there, and then we got to the Bay and then pulled up in Oakland, and then that's when you told me, Brian, and Decam and Julian. Was Julian there?
Yeah, I think Julian pulled up. Yeah. We were all at
Julian
the park.
Was there? Okay, word.
Man.
Yeah.
And that same weekend, I told my parents too.
Yeah.
They found out. So it was a blessing. Yeah, you know, I feel like in this life, I just understand that things, you know, are gonna be put in front of me, and I gotta keep pushing, you know. And with love, you know, and patience, and a lot of these things that we've been talking about. So I feel like at this point, I just want my son to know I love him. You know, and I've been in love with him, and you know, I think it's a beautiful opportunity, and I'm blessed, and I feel like I just want to do my best and continue to grow and continue to build. You know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, you know, and his mother is a great mother, and I know she's gonna be amazing, and I'm gonna do my best to make them all proud. Yeah, my family proud.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, it's love, man, and stay on the grind. You know, I think that certain challenges are put in front of us for a reason, and I look at it as a good challenge and something that's gonna make me a better person and a better artist, a person that can, you know, think of things different. So I just staying prayed up. Thank God for the time and energy, and you know, that's what it is, man.
It's really just gonna like mold you into like this new evolution of who you are. You know,
that's real.
That's tight.
That's real, man. I appreciate y'all. That's love, man. Got the left hand.
Yes, sir.
That's love, man. That's love.
Well, man.
So you know, we keep going. And everybody out there know that it's possible. Just keep pushing.
Yeah, man. I think that's a pretty good high point to like cap this off on, you know, like just
for real.
Just like the discussion of your greatest project, you know, up to date. So yeah, man, I appreciate you, you know, giving us your time. And
it's love. It's always a pleasure, man. To chop it up.
Conversation.
Yeah,
definitely.
Let's keep having fun with everything that we you know get ourselves involved with. And
let's do it.
And man.
And big ups to everybody out there taking the time to listen and you know hear us guys up here talking about some different things, some cool things. Orange Tree Podcast.
Yeah, and just to everybody, I think a lot of this is just to show people that we're thinking and that you should think as well. It's good to learn, but thinking is a tool that we're, you know, forgetting about. So start thinking a little more.
Yes, sir. And that ends it for now. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Keep pushing. 2021, we still here.